Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. Thank you. Now enjoy the show.
What's up, aunties and unks and everybody else? Thanks for tuning in to another episode of RAEAREs Review with my homegirl Erin, where we're going to give you the what's going down on the episode of The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. Excuse me. Season 6, episode 4. Everybody, please help me welcome Erin to the stage.
Hello, everybody. Hope your week is going well. Thank you for having me.
Of course. Couldn't do it without you. I may have to, but I don't want to.
I'm like, you can. You are very capable. We know this. However, thank you for letting me join. I appreciate.
Yes, you're welcome. Y'all, I labeled this episode Mommie Dearest because, child, wait till we get to that part of the episode. Brahma's mama is giving us Salt Lake City realness. And it's no shade. I'm just saying, because I ain't shading my mama.
I don't know, man. I was about to say Scuzzy Muzzy. Like, woo, that lady. Anyway, yeah. That was intense.
Wasn't it? Because I'm going to need you to help me explain something.
I'll do my best, but I mean, shit.
I mean, I took my notes and everything. I always got my notes, y'all. But that may be a little conversation because like, what she mean? But yeah, I think I got it. But we're gonna find out because my friend is always getting me right when I need to be, y'all. So appreciation is always there. How's your day? How's your week going?
Good, it's going all right. It's some folks in my family didn't have the easiest of days. It's always hard when you love your people, right? You feel that, but nothing that we can't work out kind of thing. I don't want to give too much of my daughter's business, but it looks like she's entered the 6th grade and and when they go from one class to several, we're working that out. We might need a little math tutoring. That's what we found out today. Might need a little math tutoring. So
ain't that what school's about? You find out what you need, you work
on right. Yes, that is what we are. Well, we're going to be learning that lesson. So
out to the GOOD. She's smart and whatever she girl, that ain't hiccup. Moving on.
Yes. Yes. So how about you? How you doing?
Well, as y'all can hear, I have one little cough. I drank some water. So hopefully that'll be the last one. I haven't really, I've been feeling good for the most part. I felt a little twinge or something today, but actually I think I may have had a little food poisoning as I reflect. But yeah, for the most part, I'm all right. I got a lot of rest today. Put my feet up. Got my nails did. I'm gonna put my nails on IG, y'all, so y'all can see Ray out there on YouTube is my IG name, just in case.
Yeah, and you gotta check them out because they're a work of art every time. They are.
Yeah, and I don't know, but this is something about Southern California where we say I got my feet and I got my nails and my feet done, as if feet don't have nails.
No, it's a different thing. Yep. I totally, I get it. That's what we do. We say that. But, I think we're doing better than these ladies this week.
Girl, you ain't never lied. Because, shading and growling and carrying on. Folks trying to get one up on another. I don't know if Lisa can handle it. She already lost with Bronwyn. I don't know if she can handle Angie. Angie, little son. Angie is second in shade. I'm just saying. But
I gotta figure out what the right like analogy or metaphor for Angie is, because there's like she sometimes she's really funny and the shade is like impeccable, and then other times it's like too much of like a bam over the head, like trying to, you know what I mean, like who did you pay for your insults and you wrote them down and you delivered, it's a hit or a miss with her, like mostly a hit,
Yeah.
but like sometimes I'm like, you look stupid. There's just sometimes I look at her and I'm like, you look stupid right now. But when we get to it, there was one piece of shade she threw that I thought was just superb.
To me, Angie is a busybody, and that was from the first time she came on.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Season 2 as a friend, just saying hi and bye.
Right.
She's a busybody and thirsty and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it is what it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah. Well, and I'll just say this because it was like not necessarily in a scene. I can feel her like reading her cue cards in the confessional. You know what I mean?
Mhm,
Like
mhm, mhm.
sometimes her delivery is so fake. I'm like, girl, this you feel like you're acting. Like you're trying to be doing this.
Yeah, she is performative in my opinion.
Thank you. Perfect word.
Um,
Performative.
and sometimes she'll say things to where you want to pop her in her two front teeth. And I don't like people who antagonize you in that way, because it just may happen. I'm just saying. Don't
you know?
antagonize Ray Ray. That's all I gotta say. But and I never liked that type of girl in school. I just stayed clear of her because you had a few in the classes, and I just stayed clear of that little girl who had a mouth and just knew she was right. That's what it seemed like to me. I don't know. I hope I'm not projecting, but that's what I see in Angie. I never saw for her, but then again, I don't work there. They put her on the show. She's good TV for the most part, so it is what it is, child.
Yeah, we know why she's there. I just feel like she tries too hard sometimes. And it
Mhm.
just, I mean, they all try too hard in their own way, but she has a unique Greek yogurt flavor of trying too hard, where I'm like, lady, cool it. It's like, it's overdone. I'm overdone.
Well, let's just get on in there since we're
Yeah.
talking about them. They still down to Lisa's dinner, soiree, whatever you want to call it. I'm innocent party. And
Oh, dismissed.
yeah, as Bronwyn said, dismissed because you paid it or dismissed because
True. I mean,
y'all just shading Angie business, just making it seem like she doesn't have what she has, and Angie has clearly has her business line. She's like, no, Lisa, it's this way, not what you're saying. I don't know if Lisa was trying to make a point that don't talk about mine, I won't talk about yours. You getting it wrong with mine, I'm getting it wrong with yours. But Lisa came off as if she's, you know, right about everything. I don't know. This thing with Lisa is a bit much. Like girl.
hmm
Ooh.
the whole thing didn't work. Like it was, and like it was antics that just didn't quite work.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like if you're gonna have a innocence party, which is kind of what the point was, right? Then have like your actual court documents or the resolution of your lawsuit. Anyway,
That
all
part.
of it, yeah, all of it was very, like you said earlier, performative. And the thing is, though, like with Angie and Lisa, I'm like, it's performative tit for tat. So, like,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes the way
Mm-hmm.
that they argue, I'm like, you both too much. Sit down, calm down. God, I'm kind of like Mary going, what'd they say? You know what I mean? Like just checking out. Mary
And
was
then they went low
everything.
like Nikki and Cardi talk. They brought the kid in the child. They brought the baby in it. Oh Lord, talking
Now,
about
that was interesting, though. I thought that was interesting because she did bring up the fact, and I haven't really heard her talk much about Fresh Wolf as a brand. And she did bring up that Lisa wasn't really promoting it that much, and
Right.
I thought that was interesting.
Right.
Obviously, and not really necessarily about the kids. So taking it like, don't talk about the kids. It wasn't about the kids. It was about the business that you put in the kid's name. And if this is for your kids, you would think that you'd be promoting it so that you could be building a legacy for them to have money, you know? So, like, I don't know. I didn't think that was a low blow like other people necessarily insinuated. I think it was just the two of them hurling things at one another. And I would have liked to know, why aren't you promoting Fresh Wolf? Whatever. And I did think that they belong in Walmart was funny. That was funny.
Listen, I think I am, along with other people, are triggered when we hear kids being brought in grown folks' business. Don't say nothing about nobody kid. I don't care how old. Just
True.
leave cheering. Just don't even say it. Just say the name of the brand since you already said it. You know what I'm saying? Because you just automatically, oh no, leave the kids out. Don't mention kids. No. But yeah, I agree with you. Just don't even mention it. At the same time, do you think because she brought it out on the show, she doesn't want to give the show a cut, so she's not promoting it?
That's an excellent question. I feel like if you do start the brand while you're filming, Bravo gets a certain cut, period.
Mm-hmm.
And then but like, because you notice Tamra never talks about her CBD, her THC company, Vina. She
Right.
never talks about it because she started that when she was off the show. And she's
Mm-hmm.
not brought it up because she doesn't want to give Bravo any money.
No,
So
actually, Eddie don't want to give him no money.
I can't blame him. Honestly, I would keep that under my tube too, you know.
Okay.
And they can promote it all they want on their
All they want.
podcast. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure, yeah. So I wouldn't be saying a dang thing, but I don't know if it works out. Like, let me see if I can express this properly. I don't know if it's like, if you don't mention it, then you don't have to pay for any of the profits of that year. Do you get what I'm saying? So it's like, I
Mm.
don't know if they're just not using the show to push it because they don't want to pay Bravo for a portion of any of the sales for this year. But I think Bravo's also kind of an a-hole where it's like, once you like, if you start the business while you're on the show, I think you're legally contracted to pay them a portion. Maybe it's more if you mention it on the show. Probably is. There probably is some reason to that, maybe. But I just did find it because I remember Andy talked about he was using the product and, like, you know, like, I don't know. I wouldn't have necessarily let that fall off. If you have several different businesses, why do you care how much Bravo takes? Promote that shiz and just keep it going, because eventually, you know, you'll get off of the chain, I think. Although the contracts may be super bad. I don't know. I do think, I don't know, if it were me, I would not let my child's brand fall off.
Me either.
Just for a lot of different reasons. One of them even just being optics. But I don't know. Cause, you know, yeah, there probably is some specifics that guide whether or not these ladies do that, but I also find it hard to believe that the attention that things get is not worth it.
Mm. Child. What? Well, good luck to that. You know.
Yeah, good luck with that. If any of y'all know in the chat or know, you know, on the replay crew, shout out to everybody listening. If y'all have any input, please put it in the comments.
Yeah, please. So then Heather had enough, y'all. Heather's like, listen, enough is enough.
Yep.
And both of y'all are taking digs, but at the same time, how are y'all gonna move on and resolve this? I mean, Heather kind of got Lisa together a little bit. She did let Lisa know how disappointed she was with how she, you know, played her left the other day, and thinking that she's all that in a bag of chips for the most part. But, you know, and then took a dig at Bronwyn again. Well, you know, I know it was really, really, you know, trifling or whatever she said was really bad that those lawsuits had to come out down to the provo. But
Right.
this isn't the way to do it. Again, taking digs and I know Bronwyn called it. I just can't wait for that conversation to happen because they're gonna have another showdown. I know they are, but
yeah.
How would you feel about what Heather said? Do you think she was still simping to Lisa, or was
A
she?
little, yes, I
Yeah.
do. I do think that, especially, but I also think that given it was Lisa's event, Lisa was the one that was talked about. Lisa is the way that she is. I think it was an effective way to diffuse the situation because I think that if Heather had tried to tell Lisa to just shut up without massaging her little baby, spray tan spirit, that she wouldn't have calmed down. Then she would have been like, "Oh, y'all are just piling on me." I'm doing it like an impression of Alexander Rogers doing a Lisa impression. But I think she wouldn't have received it. So I respect Heather for saying, I want to be able to say to you, I don't appreciate the way you went at a lot of us, but I think she also knows that Lisa's delusional. So there's only so much you could do. So, but I also was like, yeah, somebody tell her to stop because this is all this yelling. This is stupid. This is not fun. This is not good. Like, yeah.
Okay, now oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was going to say, and I feel like, as far as you talked about a little dig to Bronwyn, I feel like Bronwyn was clocking everything that was happening at this event. But I think that it's obvious she understood that there was like no room for the truth in that dinner.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, what was weird is again, I don't have a doctorate, a master's, bachelor's, nothing, and no type of psychology, psychiatry, mental nothing. But what seemed odd to me was how Lisa says she expressed herself so harshly because it's her vulnerability coming out. Her lashing out at the friend she says she loves so hard is her hard, rash, sometimes lowbrow rebuttals is another word. It's really her vulnerability that she has in the moment. And that's how she reacts. So they want her to cut her some grace and show her more love so she can really see that there's a relationship there. Now, is that how you understood it?
Dude, girl, that's the same shit that Tamara said to Jen. I go hard because I really care. That's an asshole trying to justify being an asshole. That's what that is. Okay? I mean, I was like, oh, you and Tamara need to get together because I've already heard this excuse. It is the villain of it is the jerk hole of the cast that will do that crap. I'm hard, I lash out because I'm really like vulnerable. Well, God, you mean, but I can understand.
Child. Then she toasts to being, to loving everyone at the table. You don't love Whitney, girl. Stop lying. You don't like Whitney. So don't sit up here and say that you love everybody at this table. She even looked Whitney way when she said it. She toasts to, loving and moving forward and everything. And I'm thinking, this is weird. Did you find it weird that she made that toast? I mean, I don't know. Child.
Yes, because she read everybody for filth and then honestly, hold on one second.
Mm-hmm. It was just weird, y'all. Did anybody anybody out there listen, watch and listen? How do you feel about Lisa and her toast? If you watched it, her toast to vulnerability.
I felt it was very fake, and I was like, you just read everybody here mostly for filth. Oh, then I, you know what else I thought? I was like, did this happen like later on in the season and they're shoving it in the beginning? Because the way you're toasting is like, it's like, a closure, a finale kind of toast. You know what I mean? I'm like, what is this? I don't get it.
Probably for her it is, and they don't know it.
Oh my goodness, I know. It just was weird. Yeah, it was forced. The whole thing was forced. I didn't even believe in Angie and hers reconciliation. Like, I didn't buy any of it.
Girl. Well, speaking of what we ain't buying, ain't nobody buying no caviar out of a jewelry store, Meredith. Meredith wants to renovate her jewelry store to accommodate a caviar lounge. Girl. Jewelry and caviar.
Ooh. Well, both can be metallic, I guess. I just feel like caviar bar is kind of trendy. I don't know.
Oh, that's what's happening. That's the end thing now, Chad?
No, not even necessarily, although it does feel a little bit that way. Yes. We've seen more than one housewife kind of like bring up caviar like, it's a little trick. Remember Erin on New York when she brought that brand and they served caviar on Pringles?
No, girl, I forgot about them. Remember that? That's the first season or second?
First season. That was when Sai complained that Erin had no food at her house.
Oh, okay, I remember that. But I don't
yeah.
Vaguely. Yeah.
Well, let me put it this way. I think caviar is an overdone gimmick on the Housewives franchise. But I've heard that I've heard it's popular right now, so I don't know if that warrants a whole caviar bar, but could be fun. I don't know. Like, I'd be down to give it a shot, I guess.
By the way, I went to STK 2 years ago in Vegas, and I had an appetizer where it was deviled eggs with caviar on it. Mm-hmm. Oh, and I've been looking for that ever since, but they took out the menu. Oh, it's so delicious.
Yes.
Oh, I don't know what kind it was, but child, I've been looking for that ever since. Oh my goodness. That was delicious. Just FYI. Oh, that was good. Okay, Meredith, I hope that work out, girl. I hope the fish don't go bad because it was empty in there. I don't know was it open or what, but
that was funny.
The fish don't go bad.
It was funny.
Now, this is the quickest scene ever on Salt Lake City. Maybe the quickest scene ever in Housewives. Mary and Heather sat down for lunch, and that was it. They moved on. They didn't. I don't even know if they said hello. They sat down. They may have said hi, and that was it. That girl, and then next thing you know, Justin is assembling Whitney's stripper pole. I said, wait a minute, what happened to Mary and Heather?
I know. What was the point other than to say that farts can have a taste or whatever? Oh, God.
Yeah, okay, yeah. See, it was so quick. I forgot that.
Well, the only reason I wondered why they threw it in there is that, did you notice that fourth wall break where Heather looked directly at the camera like, what is this woman talking about? And then everybody kind of laughed. Like, including the people off camera and Mary and so that was the only thing that I took from that weird little exchange, that hospital has a taste. You don't ever want to have your mouth open when someone farts. That was like obviously bizarre Mary world. And Heather looked directly at the camera, breaking the fourth wall, like, what the fuck is she saying? This woman is, and then they both laughed.
I forgot about that.
Well, and I thought it was a cute moment because it showed that maybe like Harry and Heather, Mary and Heather, yeah, we'll call them Heather together. They're Harry and they're Mary and Heather. I thought that maybe showed that they had a cute little moment together. You know what I mean? Like, Mary can laugh at herself because she's such a weird little figure to me.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll get to her scene in a minute.
Yeah. Well, so like I said, y'all, Justin is reassembling Whitney's stripper pole. Hopefully it's in her bedroom.
It's in the living room.
Oh Lord.
Or like they're like somewhere. I mean, I don't know if it's the same place as it was last time, but last time it was like downstairs, like in the basement or something.
Oh, okay,
Like,
the basement's one thing. Okay.
yeah. But no, it wasn't the bedroom.
Well, she mentioned how it was a sign of empowerment for her. And then it kind of made her popular with everyone, because it's Utah. You just,
Right.
typical. And it's like, Whitney has a stripper pole. It was like playing the game of telephone, but they were correct. And then, and it just made her not a pariah, but real popular. The young hot wife got a stripper pole, and then they showed it on TV, and they doing all these things on TV that, reason why he had to leave his job. It's just a whole lot of stuff that happened between Whitney and her husband that, is making the town cry.
Literally. Like, we don't want to see it, and they're crying.
Oh,
so
shoot.
I'm of two minds about this. First off, I actually respect Whitney. Like, she was obviously a bit of a rebel because she had an affair with her husband who's older, and they like started a new family. So she was kind of already Mormon girl ruined, right?
Yeah.
Like, she'd already created a giant scandal and was a sinner. I do appreciate that she kind of got off on being the wild mom that was hot and, like, obviously is actually good at it because she like had some moves on the pole, athletic.
Okay.
I can respect getting a kick out of being like the one that they whisper about, like she felt cool because of it, sexy, empowered. I can be with that, especially in like Mormontown, like I can be with it. Whitney, go you.
Right.
I can also respect the fact that although it doesn't sound like it was great for your spouses when you all got together, I can respect that you're together now, you're in a marriage, you're committed, like you're doing your thing, and fine. Now, I hated all of the crap I saw with you and your husband. The mud, the spanking, the any of it. He lost his job for no good reason because I would rather poke my eyes out than watch you two together. I don't want it. I don't find it sexy. I don't find this dynamic anything other than, too bad for you. But so I respect you being a sexually empowered, free kind of woman in a very restrictive culture and is kind of being a rebel and giving the middle finger. I'm all for that. But stop showing you and your husband doing anything together. That is gross.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you on that, and it ain't because of what you look like.
No.
Both of you are attractive people. It's just, that's not something we want to see. And furthermore, leave us out the damn group chat. We don't care. We know, listen, he's older, you're younger. We know y'all getting it on.
Yep. We know he's got some blue chew. We know he's got some blue chew and doing the do.
That's the whole point. Just like Brian said, yes, I love sucking my husband's dick. I don't even see why you're bringing that up. When he's like, yeah, me too. Just,
Whitney was the only one I believed actually did, but it's fine. Yeah. Well, no, this goes all the way back to, again, Tamara. Remember when Tamara was in the bath with Eddie? That was the grossest crap, weird Aki boo back then. Like, and then Seth and Meredith were you touching my taint? Oh, I wanted to vomit. Like, I think that they do this to gross us out because, like, there's no couple doing sexy time stuff that makes me like glad I watched it.
Girl, when he said the word taint, I'm like,
no, you ain't.
I think that was worse than Whitney and Justin, Lord Jesus.
Gross, because you knew exactly where her toe was. It was like, ugh, yeah, the whole thing. I hate it when they do this.
What in the TI?
What?
What in the TI?
Oh, thank you. Yes, thank you. Yeah. Oh my gosh. See, Don't romantic stuff is one thing. Don't show me no. Allude to spicy because I don't want any. I don't want it.
Me either.
Nope.
I think
And
we just
Whitney was impressive on that poll. I forgot,
yeah,
and
she got it
I
going
will
on.
say. I will say that when I saw her do all of that the first season, I was like,
Yeah.
she's cooler than a lot of you.
Yeah, she's athletic. I'm sure,
Uh-huh.
you know, her she's extremely healthy. She looks it.
Yep.
And she keeps herself up, of course. You know, that's just how she is. And why not take pole? You know, a lot of women do. You
Yeah,
know,
it's very athletic. It
it
is. You gotta
is.
have muscles. You gotta have muscles to do that. So yeah. All right. Good luck with that poll.
Because real quick, watching P Valley and you know all those
Right.
acrobatics that them heifers was doing, even though they were actresses, there were still you know people doing these acrobats and whatnot. And girl,
Yeah. Oh
I'm like,
no. You gotta be like a gymnast. Like, yeah, that's ridiculous. Strength, power, muscle, all of it.
oh girl. Speaking of P Valley, real quick, T. This is T. This is T. Court Hall. What's the girl who did the P Valley? Something Hall is her last name. One of the creators or whatever of P Valley. She posted on IG that Supreme Court said denied of Nikki Gilbert's claim. So now it's over and done. It's done and over.
Oh, is it?
Now we're gonna see P Valley coming hopefully before summer.
Oh, well, good. I know that everybody. How
Before
long
we
has
know,
it
yeah, girl, 3 years later. Okay,
been? Okay.
so that's it. Exclusive.
Exclusive.
Now we got Lisa and Brown meeting up, child. You know, after all that, you know, they Brown comes over to the Vita Lounge. Brown was like, "Oh, what's all this going on? Oh, this is you know this little something." Lisa's crazy. Lisa be flaunting, don't she?
Mm-hmm.
So Brahma took her jacket off. I love her garb. I love that. What is that like a 80s beaded, not beaded, a break-in? I don't know. It just seemed like it was B-boy. I don't know if it must have been couture because of course that's how she came on the show. That's what she does. But didn't it remind you of the 80s, you know, breaking and break dancing and the whole look?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like that. That was kind of cute. I love
Yeah.
you know, match a good. I love a good matching set. Is what I'm trying to say.
I do too.
Hmm. So, some would say she came with fighting clothes on, but that's just me. Bronwyn. What I say, Bronwyn doesn't. What my notes say, girl? What did I? Bronwyn doesn't want to. Oh, pretty much. You know, they're just going back and forth. But Bronwyn says she don't want to do the race to the bottom thing, and I agree because we all then seen Nikki and Cardi, child. I don't know how much low they can go. So
Yeah.
just to be clear, race to the bottom is something that Bronwyn doesn't want to do. It's not becoming, and that's not how she wants to represent herself, her family, nor does she want to fight because it doesn't take all that in order for them to, you know, come on common ground. Lisa agreed. Yeah, okay, Lisa.
I think that Bronwyn had the phrase of the scene, which is the race to the bottom.
Yes.
Where she's like, I don't want to go any lower. Can we stop this now? I think she was trying to get and this is something that some housewives do, and I hate it. It's where she was like, I didn't realize what I was saying, what I was saying hurt, how much it hurt you what I was saying. Like, you said all kinds of crazy stuff on Twitter. You were calling her a whore, you doing all kinds of ratchety stuff. You knew what you were doing. Like, for them, don't ever act like when you're like literally throwing bombs that you didn't run your mouth, you know, like I just find that to be ridiculous. And I think the fact that Bronwyn is struggling with what the audience is struggling with, which is that you, bitch, I'm trying to get you to bend a knee and to admit that, like, you were just wrong to attack me because you were upset with me. You went super low. Just say, I'm sorry, I went all the way to hell. I know that's why you came back at me, and leave it at that. Instead of this weird insinuation that somehow you didn't understand the gravity of what you were doing. And she doesn't want that to fly because she knows Lisa did. So stop trying to act like you didn't. But at the same time, we all know Lisa is delusional and is like, has a certain opinion about herself and has never been willing to admit that she is as manipulative as she is. Remember when she did that crap with Whitney's Caterer season 1 and like wouldn't cop to it? You know, she's vindictive and she does shit. And you're not going to get that. So I think Bronwyn's in this place of going, I really want to point out your lies, but I also have to get along with you to a certain degree to like survive the show.
And I think Bronwyn really wants to be there. I think she needs an outlet because as we've learned, her parents are dependent upon her and her husband. Her daughter has a live-in boyfriend, and it's a lot going on. She's taking it in stride. She's welcoming all of the stress, but, I think she wants to get away from it all. Calgon is RHOSLC to her, in my opinion. And I think she's doing well. She did say, I think I may have mentioned this, how she has a rough exterior. So she doesn't want to be that way, only when she has to. That's how I took it when she described her personality. And because I think I said, in order to be with a man like that, she's going to have to be a little tough because he's tough as a well-done steak.
Right? That is the truth. That is an observation. No, I mean, right now, the way I feel about Bronwyn is I appreciate the fact that she's actually pretty self-aware. She like called herself out accurately on her own crap. I care about people liking me too much. I do dumb stuff. I try to control how things go because of the trauma that she has about not being able to control her own life. She's probably overbearing and over controlling. She's abnormally self-aware, I think, because most of these ladies would not admit their own faults at this level. I also think she's incredibly intelligent, and I think she deserves to be on this show just for the fact that she is a ninja in the fighting. Like she
okay.
Pow, 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 pow. And I loved it. I had to give her flowers. I'm like, you may be some things or whatever, but the way you have handled people in an argument is impressive.
It really is impressive. She's on it. She looks him right in the face. She's coming with facts. She takes her appropriate digs. She's charismatic and a slight bit rude for the moment, not outright trifling with it like Lisa, but yeah, I think she can go toe to toe with the best of them. I do.
Yeah, she whooped Lisa, in my opinion, with that whole your gout dick. Like Lisa had left the building. Lisa was emotionally unavailable because she was having a full-on tantrum, and Bronwyn kept it strictly to arguing like logically. Well, yeah, I would hope that I like to, suck his D because he's my husband. And so I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And like making a joke about how I do it on occasion when the Amex bill comes in a box instead of an envelope, she is, again, self-aware of the fact that she has a certain type of relationship. Doesn't mean that, there isn't any room for love and affection, but we know why these two chose one another with certain attributes being a priority.
So they apologized to each other, and then they went straight into how's the family, how the kids, how's the so-and-so, because they know they can't just, go at each other about their husbands, about, any lowbrow things, and so they're just going to keep it with them. I just love how they just go straight into, hey girl, so yeah,
Well, I do think that Bronwyn wants to be Lisa's friend. I don't think that she likes the way that they ended up. I think she would
Right.
much rather be on the happy Lisa team. But I also think she's like, I refuse to like erase that you went after me though. So,
And it's totally different from Heather.
mm-hmm.
Heather is needy, where
Yeah.
there's, to me, I just never saw her and Lisa being friends. They knew of each other coming up as young ladies and mothers and carrying on in the same town, but friendship wise, that's Bronwyn and Lisa.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you can tell, that they have history, and I don't see that same, history with Heather. But I like how they just start coming, back and talking about things, and like you mentioned earlier, how we can kind of see possibly the etiology, how the source of why Bronwyn wants to remain friends and pleads her case the way she does, and mentions how rough it was for her. And we see that with her mom. She actually said she doesn't want to be like her mom.
I can't blame her. Shit.
And we see why later on in the episode. No
Yep.
shade. No shade. We're just commenting on what folks said. Please believe.
We're just being honest like she is. And if
Hello.
it's painful, she would be fine with it because she says that's the best way. So you want to speak plain? We are too.
Because Bronwyn mentioned how her mom didn't like the argument between Bronwyn and her daughter Gwen. And then later we hear why. There's a rationale that the mom gave. I would love to see her smile more because she gives misery. The lady from Misery, that same hair and everything.
Oh,
it just
wow.
goes so hand in hand. I can understand she's upset. Her husband got dementia. She thought she would have a certain life, and it wasn't that because of Bronwyn's, was how I see it. I'm just saying. But yeah, Bronwyn, I think this is going to be a tough season for Bronwyn. I do.
I think what's more, she talked about how she felt like her mom being on the show was going to give the audience a lot of insight into what she was dealing with and why she is the way that she is. And I agree. And I think that her situation is actually incredibly reflective of the regional Mormon culture that they all grew up in. And so I applaud Bravo for actually getting a housewife on that is dealing with some Mormon issues because it's reflective of the culture, just like Heather too. I've always thought was a good situation that way, as well as Whitney. And then you have the weird converts like Lisa, who was, I think, New York and Jewish. I don't know how you turn into a Mormon in New York City and you were anyway, but so anyway, yeah, they're interesting examples of how influential religion is in that culture, in that area particularly. And even if you aren't religious, you can't escape being treated a certain way because of the way that most people there are religious. That, like, the lens in which they operate and how they treat you will be dictated that way.
For real. Well, y'all, next we got Mary visiting the church. It's in almost done with renovations. She saw some, minor things that need to be worked out. Her cousin's doing the renovations. He is a licensed contractor, everything. Big Joe is the cousin. Ain't nothing wrong with nepotism. Nothing wrong with some nep. Because, help folks out. Folks need it around these times, I love it how they were having an honest conversation about everything, and we heard it, but we heard it a little differently. Now, I remember when Up and Adam did that interview with her mom.
I do too.
I'm like, wow, it was, her mom looks so young. She looks really good. I remember that,
She
she was
did.
house a girl. Okay, may she rest.
Right? Because you said she looks. I'm like, ooh.
Well, she did, for what she looked
No,
like.
I thought it was present tense. But yeah, no, sorry. Go ahead. I'm joking. Go
Yeah. I'm
ahead.
sorry. But I I understood a lot more because even though we may not see how, okay, we may not agree or appreciate how they do their business in the church, but if that's what the grandmother wanted, then the mother really has no say so. And it was all going to Mary. That was how the grandmother, who had everything, that's how it was designed. Now, I really hate that people had to be brought out of the church by police. I hate that it got to that, as Mary described, and how the Big Joe cousin described things to where it came down to removing her mother and her people, and I don't know if it was handcuffs, but they were removed by Popo. And I'm like, wow, it had to come to that. So pretty much the mom was trying to overthrow the decision, but it had already been made, unfortunately. So, it's really it was nothing for her mom to do but to accept it, maybe work with her in some type of way, work out, but it didn't get to that. And I believe Mary said her mom passed with them not speaking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that has to be rough,
Yes. The two things that I took out of this conversation that were not completely absurd was that I feel for Mary because it sounds like her mom was not a very responsible mother growing up, and that
Right.
she, wasn't really very godly nor dedicated to the church or to being a parent, making sure that her kids were well taken care of. It seems like her coming back to claim any sort of space at the church was based by greed. Now,
Mm.
that's just, without knowing too much. Now, and I also feel deeply for Mary when someone dies and it's unresolved. It's tragic. It's really sad because you can't fix it. It's set in
Right.
stone that way. And, an unreconciled parent child relationship is a deep one. That sucks. It's hard. It's a
Mhm.
burden to carry. But when I saw that grandmama with the Jesus holding hand, the absurdity of this church, which has potentially some very nefarious situation, and the grandmama groomed her granddaughter to be married to her husband, like all of this, you cannot erase for me the nefariousness of all this.
Mhm.
There is another way to leave your stuff to your granddaughter to take over. There's got to be another way. You don't need to marry her to your grandpap. Or to your husband. That's disgusting. That's wrong. And I don't care even if they both were trying to uphold her wishes. That's not right. It doesn't matter. It doesn't make it okay to me. It makes it just as weird. So
Mhm.
that part of it is very unhealthy, and I feel like it's the elephant in the room. And I'm sorry, but Mary has yet to prove that the church doesn't have some cult-like or some unhealthy tithing requirements or things like that, and maybe once it's up and running again, she can show us that that's not the case, but the whole thing is unhealthy as hell.
Right. Now, I do agree that Mary marrying her step grandfather, is weird AF. But just to clarify, y'all, he's not her biological grandfather. Weird, still the same.
Yes,
Just
yeah.
to clarify.
If y'all haven't caught that by now, it is a good clarification. But yeah, I mean, And for any man to be in the role of a grandfather, a stepfather, like that, and then for them to become your husband, that is disgusting. Step or
Yeah,
not,
because he
it's
saw
just
her
like,
grow up. Yeah.
yeah, and it's like he was in a role and a figure, and he was married to her grandmother. That's just that's incestual, even though it's not biological in that way. That's ugh.
Yeah.
So the whole thing is weird to me, and so them talking about it at all, like any of it's normal, is just bizarre as hell to me. But that's I do, like I said, I take the 2 points out for Mary, and I find Mary a really interesting person because I can't tell, like sometimes I feel like all the lights are on and it's really interesting, and then other times I don't. Like I haven't don't know exactly what I think of her yet.
You know what I think it is? Being being secluded a lot from a lot of the world,
Mhm.
so she's not up on game the way others are who are more vested in what's happening, because it doesn't seem like she's invested in everything happening around her. You know, she has her blinders on in certain ways. A lot
Mhm.
of people who are heavy in the church in that way don't involve themselves with certain topics of discussion, or they have a one track mind for the most part. And it's Utah, y'all. Folks is they known for intermingling within the family. Let's not forget about they are in Utah. I don't care what ethnicity, race. It's Utah,
Yeah, I
and
mean, yeah.
shame is what I'm saying. Yeah, I'm shading because
Mhm.
it's the mindset. It's like this area does this area does that. They're more
Yeah.
prone for this area is more prone for that. But I do think that she doesn't involve herself with a lot of worldly things, so she may be aloof to some.
Mhm. Yeah, I do think she disassociates. I think we see that when people are fighting, like even like when the girls all get together, and she'll be like, "Wait, what are you talking about?" And then remember when
Mhm.
somebody said whatever, she goes, "Oh, that was a good dig." Like I think she's like not paying attention. I just think that she disassociates a lot of the time avoid uh like stressful situations. But again, I do find her funny. She has some off
Yeah,
the wall comments that are
yeah.
hilarious. Like the bread, little girls don't have purses. That took me out. That was recent because little girls don't have purses. So
Girl.
I don't know, but you don't need to bring the church back, Mary. You don't. You don't. It doesn't seem like it started on the right way. Okay.
Well, we're gonna move on. Bless them.
Right.
Angie, she's trying to get her license back or renewed after she let it go for so long. So she's experimenting with Heather's hair to do a permanent or a semi-permanent or a blowout. I don't know. She gonna curl it. I don't know if she's doing a wet set or what, y'all. But then I start to
It's
gossiping.
It
Child.
seemed like she was trying to practice giving someone a perm with like the rods and the papers, and the roll, but like I don't think she put any chemicals on it. Because I sat there for a minute going, if Heather lets her put some kind of 80s and 90s perm on her hair,
Very curl.
that is insane. I would not for a scene. You couldn't pay me.
Give
Anyway.
her a Jerry curl, Angie.
Well, did you see her take those rods out? That's what it was looking like immediately.
I mean, when it came out curl, I was like, was it a wet set? Because they're gonna show us step by step. Because I love a good wet set, child. I'll do a wet set tomorrow if my hair wasn't natural. Because I did a wet set when I used to have a relaxer years ago. I love me a good wet set now. But yeah, Angie trying to get her license. So I guess that all that talk about the business kind of put a fire into her because she don't want nobody saying she is deficient in anything about her business. You don't even have your license, because that's the one. Did Lisa say it, or she probably could have? You know how Angie's trying to, be one up on Lisa, just like this doggone conversation, child. Angie is a busybody.
Mm-hmm.
So she tells Heather about the text conversation that was going on, and she was she was working, and then Lisa's assistant came out of nowhere, wanting all of the product back that's been sitting on the shelf, not moving. The stuff, the Wolf Teen Wolf, what's it called, child?
Fresh Wolf.
Fresh Wolf, that they were talking about earlier that she was not promoting, and in the playback, she blew the dust off of it, like, oh, it's just been sitting here collecting dust. And then, I guess once the assistant let Lisa know the coast is clear, here we go with the texting. Here we go with Nikki and Cardi. Just going back and forth, insult after insult, business, insult about this, insult about that. I didn't even write the insults down, child. It was just petty yet funny. Heather was just sniggling, giggling, chuckling, laughing. She was like, I can't believe y'all was saying this. Oh my God. What do you think, child?
I think it's the way that they both hang on to specifics and rumors to like fight with each other. I don't okay, I thought that you guys had gotten past what happened, but clearly not, because Lisa is petty AF, one of the
Girl.
most petty women ever. So when she came to take the Fresh Wolf back, wasn't surprised. And obviously that was an act of war, and then sending the $600 even. Okay, fine. You're mad. You aren't over that comment. Fine. Okay. But then to talk about how you used money for a trip on a credit card you shouldn't have, then now you're just looking stupid, because you don't know that, and you don't know what rumor you grabbed that from, and what does that have to do with taking Fresh Wolf back? You don't like the way she talked about it. You don't want to carry it in her salon. That, if you had left it at that, I could understand, or I could just, but then you spiral all the way to hell with that kind of stuff. And then you encourage Angie to do it too. And it's like, the one thing I thought was funny when she said that Lisa's hair color was bowling ball black. I thought that was good.
That's crazy.
I thought it was funny. And then that was one of the insults that Angie threw that I thought was funny. And then Heather's like, see, you just go too far. I'm like, what? There's nothing wrong with that one.
Yeah, no wrong with that.
That one's funny and accurate.
Girl, now what's too far is not telling Angie that her assistant is coming. Hey, listen, just so that we'll have a better footing moving forward, my assistant is on her a quick text. My assistant is on her way to come pick up the product. Thank you. That's it.
I mean, you could have come at it at the angle of, you know what? I want to take that part of our friend, that out of our friendship, because it obviously was something that you used to throw against me and I really don't like it. So I'm just going to take my product. Okay. And we'll just keep it social. That would have been a reasonable angle to take. Right. But then to send her $600, it's like you're flinging money at her like she's on the pole,
And first of all, how are you going to toast because you love everybody and then pull this stunt the next doggone day or however many hours later? Nah, again, you didn't mean nothing you said during that toast. Again, you didn't even look at Whitney when you said it. So, and I'm sure Whitney did not believe her. So,
I think most people didn't. That seemed fake as hell. Yeah, no, well, and she's proving it was by her behavior, because this is like jabby. Like you said, this shows you are not ready to move forward. You're still mad.
I mean, just ready to go with the text. Boom, boom, boom. And like you said, what does this have to do with the price of tea in China?
It's like one of those weird, I thought about it, and no, I'm not sorry. In fact, F you. That's kind of what it felt like.
That's exactly what it is.
And it's like, okay.
Well, I guess that was it for them.
Yeah.
Next, we got the Itneys. I mean, the Brittany and Whitney.
That's funny. You should call them the Itneys from now on. That was funny.
And Whitney is meeting up with Brittany pretty much to go plant shopping, but for Brittany to apologize for how she came at Whitney on so-called Lisa's behalf. And then Whitney also apologized for the BJ comment, and then it took a turn for the worse, chat. Brittany had the audacity to say that even though her and Jared are no longer fiancés, they are still seeing each other. And her daughter, who is an adult, is still upset over the fact that she is still choosing men over her daughter. And Whitney had to shake her literally, physically, and say, choose your daughter. What is wrong with you? Settle that before you trying to settle with this man who obviously doesn't want you the way you want him.
That was.
I just want to say this one thing.
Yeah, no, sorry.
Everybody watching was like, this heifer.
Yes.
That was it.
No, I'm sorry. I was stepping all over your last statement, which I don't want to do. But ma'am, it was cheesy as hell. But I believe Whitney's like, I'm gonna grab you because you look so bad on camera right now. Like, I'm gonna try and save you because you are literally making it clear to the entire audience that this is why your daughter doesn't talk to you. I thought it was really, really sad. I thought it was a pathetic example of a woman that is kind of a love addict, to be honest with you, and is willing to go running to a person who literally picks her up and throws her down every 2 weeks. She should be so ashamed of herself. Well, we're in a good place right now. In a week, you won't be, bitch. And we all know it. Like, I mean, and so you're basically saying to your daughter that giving Jared and his shenanigans like a cool-it period to rebuild your relationship is not worth it to you. Don't cry about not having a relationship with your kids. You know exactly why. And we all do too. And I have no respect for you for it. I'll give you that. I think that she's entertaining as a Mormon ditz, but then her really, really, really lack of moral fiber comes out with this kind of crap. And I'm like, you're gross. I'm a single parent. You correct me if you don't want me to see me. I think you've mentioned this before. You and I both raised children. Like it is, to me, you make sure your kid's okay first, and then you worry about a love life. Like you just do. And if your relationship is affecting your kid to that level, then you need to take a inventory. This one's a no-brainer. That dude's a douche canoe. He's a derp. He is a cheese ball. He's so corny. And you're literally going to be like, and Whitney's trying to shake you like, bitch, just don't. I mean, do you really? Hello? Like it was crazy. Brittany showed. Go for it.
McFly.
Thank you. Yes, low moral fiber.
Like
low vibrational plate, ma'am. Low vibrational plate.
Ain't nobody else on this cast doing that to their children.
No, it's just insane to me. You need to go to and learn about like love addiction, because it's literally when you're attracted to people that there's an intense emotional high and low, your body gets trauma bond. Like it's ridiculous. You need some therapy, ma'am. You need to go get educated, because what you're doing isn't love. It's pathology.
I was like, oh wow, she's actually debating whether or not
I know
make up with her daughter or spend more time with Jared to make sure that they're a couple. Are you kidding me?
Chucklehead.
I wouldn't talk to you. Don't talk to me until you and your daughter are fine.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And I want to hear from the daughter, not you.
Yep.
Because you can't be trusted.
Nope.
Sheesh.
Couldn't even fake
Girl.
it. And we all walked away knowing that's what she wasn't going to do.
Talking about it's such a difficult choice.
No, how? He is a chucklehead.
That's your daughter. The boy was like, that is your daughter. So be it she's an adult. That is your daughter. What would you have her for?
And they suggested her first season that her children haven't been speaking to her for a long time because she's
Right.
chosen men over them. So
Right.
it's not like as adults they're being unfair to you. You have shown them over and over that they're not a priority over some chucklehead men. Because I'm sure Jared ain't the first dumbass you brought home.
No, because it was the stepfather.
Yeah.
That's why they want to live with their dad.
Mm-hmm.
But no, you want to choose him and all this, that, no.
Gross.
You are out of the club.
Yeah. I mean, I just can't even fathom. If my kid wasn't good because of something I was doing like that, it wouldn't be happening. It just wouldn't be happening.
That part.
Because I signed up to be a parent.
Who else was trying to get their children together and kind of left the dude alone? What's on now that they had a similar storyline? Oh my gosh, something I'm watching. It'll come to me. It's on the tip of my tongue, but it'll come to me. Somebody had to leave their significant other alone in lieu of working it out with their children. Who was it? Oh wow, I can't believe I can't remember. Anyway,
I don't know. I'm trying to search what we're watching too. But yeah. I could digress, and I won't because I'm thinking of other people. But let's keep it on track.
I'm done with the Itnies. Okay,
Yeah.
Bronwyn, child, one bad to the other. Bronwyn and her mom.
Speaking of a mother that didn't care enough about her children.
Girl, dun 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 dun. Bronwyn and her mom, y'all. All due respect. Again, just this is a respectful commentary. We're just commenting on what was said and what we saw and our perceptions of. And Bronwyn did say she don't want to be like her mama. So that's what we're going with because it's all in context. So the Bronwyn and her mom, they are discussing kind of lightly what's going on, and then Gwen and her boyfriend come up, we going to the bowling league, and they pretty much surmise that they just going to have sex somewhere because they can't always do it at the house. And the mom was like, so the West Wing isn't good enough because apparently the mom hears them doing it, and she's like, oh my god. Typical, well, not typical, because the dad was had a high position in the church, so staunch LDS.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not. It is what it is. And can you imagine the fact that she sees her daughter having a baby, same age as the granddaughter? Now she's hearing the granddaughter have sex with her boyfriend that moved in. She don't know what to do, y'all. She don't know where she is. She just, not like that, but she is surprised, dumbfounded, run amok, led astray. She just cannot believe that this is her life. On top of not having the life she dreamed of because her daughter had a baby out of wedlock. That's where it kind of all started for her, in my opinion. Do you think so?
It's a weird thing because I try when I'm watching these shows, when I get too entrenched in judging someone for sport, which obviously that's what we're doing, right? We're judging for sport. But I always try to flip it back on my own self to get myself to look at the other side, to see someone as more nuanced than black and white. And I thought to myself, okay, so if you're Bronwyn's mom, you're a woman that is deeply entrenched in the Mormon culture, right? Your husband has a position in the church, and we all know that that is very much a judgment based on morality. You're upstanding.
No.
Are you a good Mormon? Like that actually affects your bottom dollar, your quality of living. And like if you are a really happy woman in the church, like you're gonna pass down the values that you deeply believe in to your
Right.
children.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so I can understand that part, even though I don't necessarily agree with it. I can, especially she's of a certain generation as
Mm-hmm.
well, that are a lot less, they're much more reticent to change. They're not really good with that. All the kids that are going to therapy and trying to talk about what happened with, to their boomer parents, the parents are like, I don't want to deal with this,
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was kind of an example of it. But there's this weird level of narcissism about it, about how her daughter's situation was like done to her. And there's like no remorse for how she made her daughter feel or treated her, because she couldn't just love her daughter and her granddaughter without a level of like second class citizenism. Like
Yeah.
she didn't really show any remorse for making Bronwyn feel like the way that she messed up affected all of them, was a sin, was really kind of unforgivable, and now you're just making the best of this horrible decision you made, where
Mm-hmm.
that's really a cold, ugly way to look at it. Whereas if you spin the perspective just a little bit, it's someone who did something very normal that people do in college, people be doing in high school. She went against your religious values and accidentally got pregnant, but looked to you for support. When she said that they didn't want her to go into foster care, I was like, that's gross. Like she was gonna, like Bronwyn was gonna let her kid go into foster care. Like, what are like the whole thing was like, yikes. Um,
That's the part I wanted clarification on, because it sounded like the mom had a daycare and she didn't really want Gwen there to out them. She said, well, if she can't be here, she can't go to foster care. That's how I took it. But
I
that
kind of
uh-huh.
I interpreted it somewhat as like if we took you guys in and helped raise her, because if we didn't, what were you going to do for work? You weren't going to make enough money to support her and have her be watched. We didn't want her to get taken away from you for failure to provide for her.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Okay.
just thought that
Yeah.
but I think, you could see it whatever way. It was the way that she was completely unapologetic about the gap statement, about how, yeah, I didn't buy you anything, because you had embarrassed the family. It's just like
Punishing her. Just try.
yeah. And it's like human beings aren't, and not only that, but like, where's your part in this? Why don't you ask yourself what you did to raise a child like this? You said you would have bet on your life she wouldn't have done those things. Well, where did you fail her? Do you even ask yourself that? Or do you just think because your other children grew up to be repressed Mormons and this one had a certain situation that she's just somehow not a good person?
I think there's a lot of self-righteousness within that
Yeah.
whole situation with her mom. And one thing they didn't say was, well, what about sending her off and trying to act like she never did have a baby? You expected her to do that. And that's where
Mm-hmm.
I came up with, that conclusion about the foster care thing, because you wanted her to go away and come back home without a baby.
Well, yeah, she did
You didn't
bring up
care
the
either way.
adoption. She did bring up the adoption thing as well. So it did make the whole thing right there a little bit confusing.
It was a weird, probably
Yeah, it
choppy
was
production.
probably because this sounded like this was a brutal conversation. They were
Yeah,
probably trying to save Muzzy from being completely scuzzy. I just felt really bad for Bronwyn because I think that her mother is still so strong in her Mormon conviction that what Bronwyn did was wrong, and that's what the way that it is. Meanwhile, the rest of us look at situations like life happens. You got pregnant early. Sometimes that happens. It's not ideal for the trajectory of your life, but she married wealthy and turned out fine. And she's supporting your ungrateful ass. So maybe you might want to think to yourself, sometimes life doesn't go according to plan, but that doesn't mean that this human being is deserves to be treated a certain way
Right.
forever because they defied what you wanted them to do. And it's just not reasonable in this day and age. Yes, you would have liked her to maintain your value system, but you literally think that after all this time that you're still justified in hurting your own child? Okay, you're a jerk.
And to treat your pregnant teenage daughter mean out of spite is not cute. And
Mm-mm.
to hold that over her, insulting her right now, you can imagine how it's been like this all her life, apparently, ever since, because the mother never let it go. She can't get over it because her life changed. She wanted something different for her, with especially with her husband having that position in church. And yeah, and it's a sad case. I hope that these conversations get better, because like I said, this will be a tough season for Bronwyn if it don't.
Yeah. Well, tell me something, Muzzy. Did your husband lose his job? Did you guys get ostracized from your ward? Because that's what they call like a certain, your congregation, your ward. Did you lose too much, or were you just embarrassed? Because I mean, I'd be curious to see what actually really happened in that case. And another thing that really, really bothered me was this idea that you don't want your daughter to get a big head. So you don't tell her that you are proud of her. You don't like do certain things because it's weird. There's like this, I can't tell if it's how it's like a Mormon thing where she wants to raise a humble daughter, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or if it's like this weird, gross, punishing way that certain mothers will never compliment their daughters because they don't want them to get an overinflated ego. But that's really like fucking abusive because, you actually want your child to have some level of self-esteem, right? There's just this weird thing where she won't give Bronwyn permission to be proud of herself. And you can see it, and I feel bad about that.
This reminds me of Sutton's mom,
Yes.
where she's hard as nails. I think Sutton may be older than her mom, but I don't know. They maybe a 10-year gap, because Sutton's mom is 80 something, and I don't think she's that old.
Muzzy? I
Yeah.
think she is. I do, because Bronwyn's the youngest of Mormon kids, so
Okay.
she
Well,
might have like 7 siblings, like 15 years up.
okay. Well, there it is. I see the similarity in how they're holding on to how they were raised. Like Sutton's mom said, "This is how I was raised." It is
Right.
what it
Right.
is. It doesn't mean I don't love you. I don't need to say it, because I think I heard Bronwyn's mom say something about proud of her or something, but it doesn't mean that I'm not. I didn't really get that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, it's to me, it's a similar situation in that, these baby boomers are just holding on to hurt and pain when they can have a better life if they let it go, talk it out, like you said, see somebody about it, because holding on to it only makes you look the way you look, and it's not
Yeah.
cute.
That was a good comparison with Sutton's mother's reaction, who's a therapist, for crying out loud. So weird.
Girl,
I'm like, what?
you would think. You would think.
You would think that you would know that it's important to tell your daughter that you love her if you're an actual therapist. I shudder to understand otherwise. But both of those women basically expected their daughters to know that they were proud of them and loved them and that they didn't want to be vulnerable and have to say it, Well, obviously, you didn't do a good enough job making it clear through your actions that you did, because both of you have adult daughters that are now like stuck on with mommy issues, stuck on seeking approval, and financially taking care of both of y'all.
Well, I didn't have anything else to say about them. Did you?
No, I mean, I know this sounds really hard, but this was a hard conversation. It was sad.
Yeah.
And like I said, I always challenge myself in these moments. And I will say, I did try to put myself in Muzzy's shoes and be empathetic to the fact that she raised her children to uphold certain moral values and was sure that that's how things were going, and she felt betrayed by Bronwyn proving that to be wrong. So there's where I can give you an inch, but we got a mile of bullshit over here.
Agree.
Just saying.
Now our final scene, Meredith looking at Angie like, girl, really? So Angie felt the need to have coffee with Meredith, being a busybody, like I said, because she felt the need to tell Meredith how Lisa, what happened, like she did with Heather, that whole text exchange and all that. And she added some sauce to it, child. She had to say, well, remember when y'all were on the outs? Well, this is what she did. She actually hired a private investigator to find out some, what's that word?
Dirt. Nefarious. Yes, nefarious.
Things going on with your family about, some jail time.
And she mentioned it. Bankruptcy, that like accused
all that.
Shoplifting.
Right. And Meredith was like, she had, she has some cute little dimples, don't she? But she, she had to make that dimple show like, girl, you really want to go there with me? Well, all of this is not true, girl. Meredith. All of it may not be true, but we heard some stuff already.
We have.
So just FYI, you may have forgot the lie you told.
These streets be talking.
Angie doubles down and was like, no, that is what she said. Hand to the Lord, feet crossed, everything. So that's what she said. And, it doesn't make Angie look good in this light. If Angie is going to come across, she's in the center, as you see. To me, Angie wants to be the winner in everything. So if she's going to be the winner, she's going to have to act like it and not bring this type of mess to something that happened a long time ago. It doesn't mean anything now.
Yeah. 100% agree with you, because you can't be beefing with someone and then like tack on something old to try and sway other people. You look pathetic. So you can be upset with Lisa for what she did, and you can tell Meredith what she did. Leave it at that. Be like, she sent her assistant to pick up Fresh Wolf and then sent me some money and some nasty texts. You want to see them? Here they are. And if Meredith wants to stay committed to being friends with Lisa, even though she did that to her, you can't then go digging around trying to find reasons to get Meredith on your side that are not relevant to the issue at hand. You look thirsty. You look pathetic. You look like you're trying too hard. And it's not really convincing anyway. So for you to sit there and go, Lisa was trying to do all of this, and not only that, but like you're bringing this to, like, let's break the fourth wall here for a second. You're bringing this to camera. So you're now bringing up the fraud, or you're bringing up the shoplifting and the bankruptcy. You are the one that brought it up. And so you did. And so even though you didn't give specifics, all the bloggers are going to go now dig up what the heck you're talking about or rehash it again because you're bringing it up in order to make me go against Lisa.
I'm just over here shaking my head like, girl.
Yeah, Angie, this is where I said you try too hard. This is the wrong sauce on the wrong dish.
Now, can I add, I'm going to always bring this up because I think it's so apropos. just like Kenya fumbled the bag. If she would have just played victim to the
Right.
hilt, like
True.
we all know Kenya can do, and
Yep.
force them to not put that girl back on this show because she's bringing weapons of mass destruction around me, and I'll need to feel safe. I don't know if I need to what if she, because every, I don't care what nobody say, I don't care what job it is, every job has a no weapons policy unless you work for the popo. I'm just saying, you know, situations like that, you know, that's what you do on a daily. But every job has a no weapons policy. And we all heard it. So for her to say, no, I didn't mean, no, that's what you said, Heifer.
Yeah.
Don't be trying to act like you were drunk. No, you meant what you said because you said it the way you said it. And furthermore, again, if Angie would just play her position, you in the middle, Heifer. See, you in the middle. If you would play your position as victim and would have just played up the fact that how could she do this? She couldn't even text me first, call me first. I'm at work trying to embarrass me. Play it like you always do.
I thought we were moving on, and then you do hostile crap like this.
Exactly. That's how you do it, Angie, but you fumbled the bag because you ain't right.
Doing too much. It's team doing too much. It's shooting yourself in the foot. Girl. Just like Kenya did. Right. Girl.
Now they on season 17. Ain't seen her since we
Bye. Brit's gone. She got her own self kicked off the show, and you ain't coming back.
Just shaking my head like, girl. All that for what?
Right.
I wish I would, girl. But yeah, y'all, that's all I got. You got anything left?
No, I think we gave it our all.
Hey, y'all, that was it. That was Salt Lake City, Real Housewives, the What's Going Down episode, season 6, episode 4. We are just starting, and I love to see the ice and everything because, you know, we're changing weather now. We're going from summer to fall, and it's always nice to see something different, you know, to just, oh, it looks so, you know, serene and peaceful. It's not always snowing in Utah, but when it does, it's just so beautiful and pretty, in my opinion. I love a good snow.
Yes, I can appreciate them showing us this season for this region.
Well, y'all, before we go, let's find out where Erin's going to be when she ain't talking ish with me.
You can catch me on Instagram and Threads at psychic_ELB or Facebook, Psychic Erin Boyd. Hit me up if you would like to get a psychic reading.
Yes. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share, and we'll catch you next time. See y'all. All day, all day. All day.